Welcome to a place of alignment where we chat about being who God has intended us to be and living the life that He has intended us to actually live. So if you're living anything below that, if you're striving to get there, I want you to know something that has really helped me over time is to understand that whatever God has intended, He has put the capacity inside of us to be able to attain. Whatever God has intended, He has put the capacity, the longing, the desire, the uniqueness inside of us to be able to attain it. Now, there are so many things that affect us in the process. Yeah, and those are some of the things that we want to be able to talk about. But tonight we talk about something that is special to my heart, that is alignment. If you watch the previous episode where we talked about how the selection of a partner affects our lives, especially if we choose the wrong partner in our lives, how it affects our wealth creation capabilities, yeah, and how it brings us down. We actually talked about the reasons as to why we choose the wrong partners. Today, we want to be able to talk about when you flip the coin and you align yourself with the right partner, all right? If you are the kind that is in our relationship, if you're already in a marriage, you're just going to, your eyes are going to be opened to see why you have been stuck for the longest time. And this is going to help you. And let me say this because I know so many of you are going to misunderstand me. Yeah. This is going to help you in a way that it's going to help you to know in which ways or where you were stuck, all right? And then it's going to harden your heart to be able to act in accordance and in alignment with the purpose that God called you to do, despite the fact of everything that is happening around you. That means you can still blossom in that environment for as long as you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So it's all not lost cause. For some of you will say, oh, but I'm already married, and I'm already married because we refer to a wrong partner. The reason as to why we say wrong is because of so many things, because they are doing things that are out of alignment, things that we did not expect, things that are not positively contributing to our growth or our well-being and stuff like that. And so if someone is not totally to the extreme of beating you, I don't believe in beating. If someone is beating you, that is not a marriage, that is hell. Yes, and I have said it. Come for me. If someone is beating you, that is not a marriage. That is hell. Get out of it. They do not have any spare parts for your body. If they pluck out your eye, they will never put it back. And if you're dead, no one is going to take care of your children. And this happens to both men beat women and women beat men. All right? So if someone is beating you, that's a non-negotiable. We're not even talking about that. The first thing is fly to safety. Okay? But if someone has things that they are doing that are really rubbing you the wrong way, and some of us, we get stuck because we want to change them, because we expect change. Because now, one thing that I'm going to cut away from you is you expecting change, because if you know that this habit is not going to change and you decline or walk away from wanting to change this person, and you're saying that I only have to work with myself, even when we are a couple, I mean, we're not going to do things together, we're not going to see eye to eye, and we're not going to, joining finances is something that is actually going to always be a hassle. Or even if we join finances, I'm the only one that is going to be on the begging side, and the only one, so I'm going to stand up for myself. So there's such a scenario as being deliberately selfish within an environment that is not too conducive. But again, you can be able to say, you know what, let me build from within. Okay, I'm going to respect, I'm going to be loyal, I am going to be loving, and I'm going to be, but I will know exactly what to love. I'm not going to be a doormat. That is not going to happen. I'm not going to be a yes person. That is not going to be happen. If this person requires me to degrade myself to that kind of level, then I don't think this is a person that I can stay with. But if this person is okay, and I'm just going to do my own things, I mean, that make me happy, but I'm not going to disrespect them, and they are okay with it, then I am going to build, and I'm going to know what to expect and what not to expect. There are people that are very good family people, but when it comes to partnerships, you're bashing heads. To a partnership, as in a spouse's partnership, it becomes very hard. But they are very good father. They are very good provider. They are very good. So I want us to choose our battles wisely. All right. I want us to choose our battles wisely. And that is where I want to open a session that is going to be for Q&A, because remember, our scenarios are totally different from one another, and so sometimes giving the blanket statement, it's not going to help you deeply, because you have something that is at the depth, or it's seated with you, and you just don't know what to do with it. All right, that is where I want to open up. So if you can be able to send your question, your personal questions regarding that, in the inbox to the number on your screen, then we will be able to actually help out, create this scenario, the Q&A sessions, answer those questions deeply, and I know that it will be helpful. But for tonight, we are going into alignment. What does it look like for you to be aligned? When you are aligned with the right partner, wealth doesn't just add up, it multiplies. That means there is an increment. That means there is, it is faster. Multiplication is faster than addition. The right person doesn't compete with your destiny. No, they complete your assignment. Yeah, because they are that person that will tell you, what if you tried this? What if you tried that? What if you tried this? Because they believe you can do it, you have it in you. They see you better than you even see yourself. They push you into your greatness. I don't know if some of you have had such partners. I know that if you've had one, you understand exactly what I am talking about. They don't drain your energy. They actually boost your energy. You feel you can go an extra mile because you have this person in your life. They fuel your vision because they see bigger things. Even when you see a bit, it's a bit blurry for them, they see clearly. Why? Because they are not you. So they are able to see, if they can do this, that means they can do that. So they fuel your vision. And then they don't fight your purpose. Yeah? They don't fight to pull you down. They don't, as you're building, they are not trying to tear down. They fund it with their prayers. For those of you that have had spouses that are praying for you, you actually know what it means to have someone hug you and pray for you and cover you. Okay, it just feels like it's a safe space. It feels it's a place you can dream. It's a place you can be creative. It's a place you can chase your vision. It's a place you can believe for bigger. And every single one of us, we actually deserve that kind of environment. All right. And they are an encouragement. They are in agreement with you. And even when they disagree in principle about how to go about certain things, you realize that they will correct you with love. That is a person that is in alignment, okay, with the right partner. And that's why Ecclesiastes 4:9 declares that two are better than one, because they have good return for their labor. If two good people come together, people that are not toxic, people that are not narcissistic, people that are not egocentric, people that are not self-driven, not self-centered, all right? As in, those people are going to help each other reach heights. So your right partner unlocks returns that you could never ever achieved alone. I have seen this happen in so many people's lives. It's more like you're standing on someone else's shoulders. Yeah, it's more like you're not starting from zero. You have a fallback position, a safety place. So you're like, you know what? I can take as many risks as possible. I can fly as high as I have ever imagined, because I know that if things do not work out, I am coming back into the safety of not a person that is going to gloat, a person that is going to tell me I told you so, a person that is going to that is not going to listen to me, a person that will pray for me that I can start again and remind me of how great I am. That is alignment. So if you are single, be very careful in the place of choosing. Yeah, sometimes we don't know that we are choosing leads instead of partners. When you choose a lead, a person comes and traps everything, traps purpose, traps wealth, traps everything, and you start boiling with frustration inside of you. If you, however, choose someone, and let me tell you, there will be telltale signs. There will be telltale signs that you are choosing the right person, because when you give it time and you're not rushing and you're doing it with discernment and you're doing it with like all the things that we talked about. So if you didn't watch that episode, please go back and watch it on YouTube, yeah, so that you can understand why we choose the wrong partners and why that heavily negatively affects our capacity to create wealth. Because money is very important in this equation. If we're talking about abundance, money is very, very important. All the other parts of the wheel of life are very important, but money is a lubricant. It makes things move, all right? And that is why we really, really, really want to be in that space where we are not lacking and nashing, all right? So you realize when you choose a good partner, there is a lot of ideas flowing a lot faster, and then they encourage you to rise higher, and then your productivity doubles. If you know, you know. If you are in it, you actually understand what I'm talking about. If you're not in it, you actually firsthand know what it means to be drained. So I need you to just think about it. For those of you that have had a chance, a glimpse to be in good relationships, or you're in a good marriage, yeah, you know how you're not competing with anyone. You're rising every day to think, to create. And even when you're stuck, no one is gloating or no one is saying, I told you so. As in, they're just telling you, you know what, you will gain your momentum. Just keep showing up. Just, you know, do whatever you can today, and let's see how tomorrow actually goes. Yeah. So the reason as to why it multiplies in an aligned relationship is because there is peace. Yeah, there is peace. There is no competition. There is no dragging you down. There is only two people holding hands and walking into a destination that each one of you was actually created for. All right. So your wealth isn't just tied to your job, your hustle, your skills, your brilliance, your calling, your anointing. No, it is tied to who you walk with. That is why I want you to be very careful. Whether you're single, whether you're married, I want you to be very, very careful. All right. And if you are really in right alignment, when you get love, it is not just love. It gives you leverage. It gives you an advantage. And the reason as to why so many people will say, I don't regret a single day in my life having this person, because they feel, and I think you've had so many of our mothers and our fathers, and if you have a woman that really, really contributes to your growth, or if you have a man that really contributes to your growth, you realize that their love is more like an advantage, because it has created a lot of safety around you, so you can rise to any kind of heights. And it just doesn't give you companionship, it gives you capacity. It expands you inside, that you can accommodate more, that you can take risks on more things, that you can dream bigger. Why? Because there is no limitations around you. And so with the right partner, you don't just survive, yeah? You don't just survive, you thrive, you live in abundance, you multiply, and you live generational legacy. The reason as to why a man can be able to leave inheritance to children's children, by the time a man is living, there is no man that has a wrong partner, or a woman that has a wrong partner that leaves legacy to children's children, as in, because of the environment, everything is curtailed. Like there are always barricades. You have to skip over this, skip over this. The energy you need to skip over the lies, to skip over the cheating, to skip over the exhaustion, to skip over the draining, to skip over the insults, to skip over the discouragement, to skip over. You realize that you are in this, but every time you. Some people, when you think about going home, you're discouraged. When you think about facing your partner, you are discouraged. And yet, you should be running home from all the storms of the world. You should be running to your partner from all the storms of the world. So if you're living a life of transformation, this is how your life is going to look like, and this is how it's going to affect your wealth creation. Peace multiplies wealth. Number one, peace multiplies wealth. When we say that a wise woman builds with her own hands and a foolish woman tears down with her own hands. Just imagine a man with a nagging, combative spouse, they will always find themselves drained, even if you're so good at work, even if you're so good with your clients, even if you're so good with your sales, even if you're so good with creating relationships, even if you're so good, as in you were high flyer before this person came into your life. They came into your life, little by little there's an edge that is going over you, that is getting off you. Little by little something is being subtracted. Little by little there is a subtraction in your life, in your happiness. A one who used to wake up and put on brightly and you can't wait to face the day, and you're calling up your clients right now. Even if you try to call your clients, because of a nagging wife, you're like, who are you talking to? Was it a woman? And now all of a sudden you have to be so afraid when you're making any kind of calls to your clients, or you're setting up meetings or stuff like that. You've seen wives that have followed up their husbands, or even husbands that have followed up, and it was a business meeting, like a business meeting. This person will even want to show you that, yes, I'm in this place. Some people have even called to find out where you are, and you're like, okay, you're in this place with so and so, even if it's a business meeting where there are many other people, as in someone is just there to nitpick you, everything that you do, where you go, who you're with, and so you're in a constant battle of I have to explain, and then will she understand, or will he understand, and then that is exhausting. Even just from talking about it, that is exhausting. Because it keeps you drained, it keeps you distracted, it keeps you less productive at work. So contrast that to a couple who cultivate peace at home. Suddenly the ideas are flowing, suddenly there's creativity, suddenly there's more relationships, thriving relationships, suddenly, there's a lot more respect and listening to each other, with the intention of helping and not tearing. Just imagine that life. I want you to imagine that for a second. That when two become one and there is alignment with the right partner, that there is a shared vision. Because whatever you are doing is not just for you, it is for us. Whatever you are doing is not just for you, but it is for us. So if we are saying that two are better than one because there is a good return, just like we said, that means in business, one spouse handles operations while the other is driving sales, while the other is handling finances, the other is, as in, there is a shared vision. When I see my husband sell my vision, I'm like, okay, I couldn't even have spoken about it like that. I couldn't. It is a shared vision. He shares in what I'm doing. I share in what he is doing. Sometimes when people ask us, okay, you're spending too much time together, and as in, what exactly do you be doing? Because people keep asking us about this. What exactly do you be talking about? What exactly? We talk about those so many things, but we have so many shared visions. He shares into what I am doing. He knows exactly what I am doing, when I'm doing it, with who I am doing it, and that is out of, I need his support, so I will tell him everything, and he supports me 100%. And even when he's doing his other businesses and everything, he fills me in, because, we talk about it, and sometimes I see the gaps that he doesn't see, and sometimes he has seen the gaps that I'm not seeing, and so it is a shared vision. So that means our output doubles every time, compared to a person that is just doing it alone. When you come back home, you have no one to discuss with, and so you're dying with your own math in the head, you're dying with your own contemplations, you're dying with your own. So if there's anything that was happening at work, or with sales, or with a business, as in, you are handling the stress alone. Let me tell you, just like they say, a problem shared is a problem half solved, as in, just by getting it off your chest. It is so helpful, so helpful. Okay, so just imagine the opposite of having the wrong partner in your life, and how that actually makes you feel. it is so draining and it is so dragging, and it limits any kind of output that you should have had in that kind of scenario. All right, so you want more productivity. That is also a byproduct of alignment when you have the right person in your life. When you have the right person in your life, because still, two are better than one, you would think that there is increase in productivity. And that's exactly actually what happens. So, exponential productivity. Wise stewardship. Wise stewardship. When the Bible says in Proverbs 31:16 that she considers a field and buys it, out of her earnings she plants a vineyard, she considers and she buys. That means there is wise investment. There is, by the time you consider something, sometimes you consider out of asking for help, consultation, talking it over. There's so many things. For example, I'm invited somewhere, or I'm invited out of the country, and I have to be able, I'm out of the mind, I'm exhausted, it's been a long day's work, and I'm telling my husband, I've got this this invitation, it's in this country, and it's on this date, and I must be able to spend like 4 days there or 3 days there. And so I'm like, you know what, they want me to quote how much it is, but I'm just not in the mind frame. And like, he always has quick math, so he'll be like, you know what, for such a trip, that means all expense paid for, hotel is paid for, are they giving you an extra person, or they expect you to travel alone? And then he has done the quick math of how much we are supposed to charge them, either per session, whether there are additional sessions and everything else. Like, he's my chat GPT. You know how you would just type something into chat GPT and it will give you all the answers. So that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'm like, we meet at the end of the day, and I'm telling him all these things, and he's like, in less than 2 minutes, 3 minutes, he has figured it out, and he has told me, okay, the whole package is this amount of money. So just write back to them and tell them this is it. And sometimes he'll be like, you know what, just give me your phone, and then he will write back and he will talk you through the details, and then I'll be there, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Lord. As in, there's someone who understands me. There's someone who cares that I'm exhausted. I'm not in the mind frame to even think about that particular thing in that moment. And he doesn't want me to take long to get back, because decisions have to be made. And he's just willing to jump in and help. So, wise. So the reason as to why I will consider things, or he will consider things, is because, you have someone that you trust. If I ask him, he will always have an answer. If he will always, if it's an investment, he will always guide. If it's something, he will always chip in. So I want you to be very careful. Some of these things, when there is chemistry, and when there is touching of bodies, and there is excitement of bodies, and because you've been lonely for a very long time and all that, you don't go into the depth of, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my life. We are going to have children, okay, with this person, and these children are going to get sick. They are going to disturb us, and they will come in. The children will be expensive. We will have to take them to school. We will have to the medical bills, and then just the feeding, and then everything. All you're thinking about is sex. Are you a hen? Yeah? Quit having small thoughts. Quit having small thoughts. You are creating life with this person. And you're not saying I do for 1 week. You're saying for the rest of my life. So can you be so serious when you are deciding, like, your life depends on it, like your happiness depends on it, like your flourishing, your thriving, your financial capacity depends on it, like everything about you depends on it. So when you look at it with that big picture, you are going, that's the only reason as to why I'm actually having this chat with you. This is a big sister chat. If you are not yet, you have not yet committed, you still have a chance, even when your wedding date has already been set. You still have a chance to back out of this. Yes. Up until the last day, when they open that church, You have already done your makeup. You are already in that gown, or you are the man that is standing at the altar. If you're the woman and they open the church and the church bells have started, yeah, I want you to know that you still have a chance to make an about turn, lift your gown and run for your life. If you think you are not walking into alignment or aligned partnership. And if you're a man and you're there, you've already dressed up, you reach church first, and then you have stood at the altar, you're standing at the altar and you're waiting for the bride to walk down the aisle with the father, and you're having second thoughts, and you're having third thoughts and fourth thoughts and fifth thoughts, whatever it is, and you're looking at yourself and you're thinking, okay, I'm committing to this person for the rest of my life, but you're seeing stars and you're seeing, I'm not talking about the jitters and cold feet. No, you have evidence that whatever you're walking into, there are things that are just not adding up. Okay? I need you to walk out smartly. Walk out smartly, like you're going to the loo. It doesn't matter whether you paid for the cake. It doesn't matter whether you did what. As in, you're not getting married for people. Oh, because we invited so many people, all our friends are going to be there. Oh my God, we bought a cake of 15 millions and we booked a venue of 100 millions. Oh, you can lose all that money, but you cannot dare lose your life. You cannot dare lose your life. Yeah, walk out like you're going to the loo. Get in the car, explain later. Some of you are like, Bahati. I'm like, yes. Let me spoil you very well. But I will tell you, you'll be so glad. You will be so glad, because an abandoned relationship, yeah, is better than a divorce. Is better than a divorce. No one will ever ask you, didn't you see these things happening? That is only in a therapy session where there is Bahati who is unconventional and is asking you. But they'll be like, but you got married, stick in there, make it work, do this. They are not in there, they are not facing the wrath of it, they're not facing the fact that you're building and your partner, the would-be partner is tearing down. And then if you're a woman, you have no basis to even speak. Just keep quiet. You're supposed to be a womb that gives birth and scrubs the floors and cooks. And what else do you want? What do you think women are for? Let me tell you, women have for so much. We have so many choices, countless choices. If you're still living in 1900, that is your decision. We moved on long time ago. We are creating happy marriages, respecting, we are submissive. But we are making money, and we are living happy lives, and we are living happy partnerships. And we are letting our children see firsthand what good love looks like. Yes, what sweet love looks like. What living in alignment with God and in alignment with a good partner actually looks like. So we're not settling. We are deciding that we want it all, and it's possible, it's achievable. You can be happy, you can be married, you can have the children, you can make the money, you can serve God, and oops, it's a sweet life. It's a sweet life. I wish it for every one of you. All right. So a prudent wife invests part of the household income into land that later appreciates, lifting the entire family. The contrast, that will be a wasteful partner who spends everything on fleeting pleasure and luxuries. Yep, one builds, another tears. So choose a wise woman. If you are a man, I pray that one day we'll be able to do it with Mr. Sabiti and just talk to you men to avoid foolish women at all costs, to avoid foolish women. Let me tell you, I envision a title of Run Away from a Foolish Woman, or Run Away from Foolish Women. Sometimes you think I just talk on the side of the women and I'm pampering the women and what. No, I'm touched by the women. That comes from so much that I have gone through and I have seen people go through. But the thing is, let me tell you, My heart goes out to every man that is suffering with a bad woman, that is suffering with a foolish woman. There is no worse hell than that. A woman that does not build you, a woman that tears you down, a woman that, a good woman is a cover, a good woman is reputation, a good woman, they will make you feel like you live in heaven before you even get to heaven. All right, so we will do that. Make sure that muji manja, make sure that you every time you see me, like Bahati, you promise to talk about men. Even remind me about the title, Men Run Away from Foolish Women. Men run away from foolish women. Yeah, it's the same. Women, I tell women all the time to run away from foolish men. Yeah, so it wouldn't be news. The other one, however, will actually be news, because I would love men to marry right. Because when a woman, a man, you creating generations. Okay, you're creating generations. As women, we are building your clans. All right, so if we are building your clan, then you should choose wisely a person that you build your clan with. You should be able to choose very, very well. And then if you're in alignment, it is a spiritual cover. All right, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and receives favor from the Lord, and receive favor from the Lord. So many men have testified of receiving promotions, of receiving business breakthroughs, of receiving open doors, right after marriage. Okay, and it's not by coincidence. It's not by coincidence that it's a walk of faith. You don't know how it's going to be, but you're like, you know what? I'm taking on another human being. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to lead right. I'm going to take care of my family. And before you know it, you're thinking about more opportunities. Doors are opening and stuff like that. Now, not because of luck, but because of God's favor overriding or actually taking care of the covenant alignment. On the other side, it becomes when you find a bad woman, a foolish woman, let me tell you, everything crumbles. That is why some of them, there are few men that have spoken about it, but there are so many that have gone through it. Some of them are quiet. As soon as they marry, that's when everything falls apart. Their friends run away from them. They're like, that woman that she got, her mouth is like that of a fish. She's poking her mouth into every business. Yeah, she's trying to cut ties, or her husband's ties. Like, everyone should go away. She's trying to separate the husband from his family. She's trying to make sure, as in the business partnerships and everything, until everyone is like, you know what, let's leave you with your foolish woman. Definitely they will not call her foolish woman. Oh, but they will be like, no, let's just, so they will take a distance. Before you know it, no one is calling you, you're isolated. You are isolated. And I know why bad people love isolating others, because they want, when the pain becomes too much, you will have no one to actually hold on to. And then if you are in proper alignment, there is encouragement to take bold steps. I have seen that in my own life. I have seen that in my clients' lives, where you feel you are bold and strong to do whatever it is. There is no hesitation. Yeah, and business grows when there is no hesitation, when there is the courage, the boldness to follow through whatever it is that you have planned to follow through. That's like, make that call. The wife is encouraging, or the husband is encouraging. Make that call. Send that message. Or what? It's a promotion, but I don't know what. You're like, you can learn on job. Take it, and then let's figure out faster. Later, I have seen husbands that have made research on behalf of their wives. I have seen wives that have made research on behalf. I've seen wives that have asked for job promotion or something. They're like, let me write that email for you. So you think it's the man that actually put in the email, but it's the wife that is behind this, is the engineer behind this boldness. And it's like, aren't we asking for much? And the wife is like, you actually deserve it. You even deserve a lot more. The wife puts the figures and is like, sent, and then you're called in for a meeting, and indeed they tell you your promotion has been long overdue, or your increment has been long overdue, and you have the money. The first thing, the man will run to the bathroom and tell the wife, can you believe it, the money you asked for, we actually got it. And the wife is like, you know what, I'm waiting for you, we actually celebrate. And you'll find the woman has already bought a cake, and everything is prepared. So as in she has even either invited a few people, or she's just celebrating just together with you, and she's telling you, by the way, she engineered the boldness and the encouragement, but she's the one congratulating you for the good work done, and how you've been good, and how you're unmatched, and how you nothing beats the covering of a good person, of an aligned partner. Nothing beats. So I would want you to talk to your children, and if you have mature children, send them this message, yeah? And if you have single people that you want to flourish, whether it's a church group, send them this message. Let them know that there is such a thing as having aligned partnership. All right. And so if they've been dating, they should be able to look for the telltale signs to show, is this something that I'm going to flourish in, thrive, or is it something that is going to make me downcast? People walk into marriages well knowing you are walking down the aisle, but you know you're walking into darkness. You're even afraid. Some people cry not because they're crying tears of joy, but they're crying with regret. They're like, what am I getting myself into? Some people walk into marriages because they're competing. They're like, oh, they think like a partner. There is no one is a trophy in this world. No one is a trophy. No one. Actually, there are some people, if they were to be asked, okay, between this amount of money and your spouse, they would even take the amount of money. Why? Because they are shaky, the foundation is not good, they know they are walking into a bad thing, but someone told them, not all marriages are good. Someone told them that, everyone does that. Not everyone does that. I want you to learn to be big-headed sometimes, so that you just don't find yourself in situations that are not meant to be yours. All right? And then there's such a thing as generational blessings. All right? A good person leaves inheritance. We talked about that for his children's children. But as sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. All right? So couples who build wisely leave houses, they leave businesses, they leave values, and they are together while they are handing down these things. They are handing them down not with just the keys and the houses and the what, but there is a platform for good love, a platform for good family, a platform. People know the value of family, the value of siblings, the value of respect, the value of submission, the value. So they are passing on the things that are going to ensure that the generational blessings are passed on from one generation to another. Like you have given them a solid foundation. Because even if you give all the riches to your children and they have nothing, it's like I say, all the single parents up in fighting so much to make sure that especially from bad relationships. I'm talking from bad relationships, not single parenting from a loss of a loved one, because then you didn't have a choice, yeah. And even then, we usually go through how to be able to, because I've seen so many of them that have pampered their children and spoiled their children and stuff like that, and we've gone through scenarios where we actually reverse that. But just imagine you are fighting so hard, and there's a foundation of misalignment. There's a foundation of a mixed things. Children are like me. They are like, you know what, I will never get married. I've not seen any happiness here. I've not seen any like there's a lot. Now on top of that, you leave the other things, the houses, the cars, the house, the whatever it is, the money and everything else, but you have not given them the character. You have not given them the boldness to stand still. You've not given them the boldness to be big-headed and not just be swayed and tossed around by the winds of the world and stuff like that. You realize that generational blessing is going to be cut short, because it's going to remain with that kind of generation. They don't know how to choose a partner. They don't know how to, as in everything is just, second guessing themselves, and, they are not courageous enough and stuff like that. But you realize that if you provide a firm foundation, that the children themselves can even create more wealth, and they're able to pass on more health and pass on more health and pass on more health. That is why they say when a generation is cast until the fourth generation, still when there is a blessing until the fourth generation. So you realize that it actually applies to both. So I want us to take it so seriously that if you build wise, okay, meanwhile, if you are on the other side of the spectrum, in misalignment, you chose wrongly, you're passing on brokenness, your brokenness, you're passing on debt, you're passing on regrets, you're passing on, as in all the wrong things. So that, and this applies to so many of us, that we are in a generation where so many people are curse breakers, so many people are bondage breakers, so many people are fast line, curse breakers. And so it becomes so hard because you're starting afresh. You're building the foundation where you thought your parents could have built a foundation. You are the one that is building the foundation. Is it inevitable? No. I mean, it's going to happen in every generation. There are always going to be first line curse breakers, first line generational curse breakers. And so if you are one, I know that you're fighting a lot, you're struggling with a lot. Believe me, I am one of you. I am fighting, I have fought, I have reached somewhere, and God has been faithful. And let me tell you, I am still fighting and still fighting, because there has to be first of everything. You have to be the first of everything, the first to break even, the first to break through, the first to have a good marriage, the first to make wealth, the first to, as in the first to understand God and serve God, the first. And I'm like, if it means me being the first curse breaker or generational curse breaker, I am going to keep breaking them until I know my children are actually free and they are moving and they are inheriting the blessing and, and everything that they have to inherit. All right. So I cannot take that lightly. Some of us, when there is alignment, what we face is the emotional stability. I can tell you some of these things that I'm talking about, most of them are things that I have faced, that I'm sharing, so that you will see that choosing right works in your favor at all times. It works in your favor. Choosing right and being in alignment. There is emotional stability. Okay? You do not get to cry or grieve for the wasted energy, because that traps you in a place where you cannot do anything. Like you're always thinking, regretting. You're always thinking, I wish I had chosen different. You're always thinking, I wish these things could turn out different. Now, that is a lot of time wastage if you really, really ask me. Okay? In Nehemiah 8, it actually says that do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. And in this case, a peaceful, joyful marriage creates emotional, stable environment. That joy translates into strength to create, into work, to expand wealth. And just compare it, when you compare it to what we talked about last time, with constant fights that leave you stressed and you cannot focus at work, you cannot focus on your dreams, you cannot chase on your dreams. Choose which side. The Bible says that the power of life and death are under your tongue, in your power. And it says choose life, that you and your descendants. So what I'm talking about, my greatest concern is, it does not just affect you, it affects the generations that are coming. It affects the descendants. It affects until the fourth generation. Can you choose right? Can you pause? Can you strengthen yourself? Can you be stable? Can you stabilize for a moment? Don't be quick. Don't do it because others are doing it. Don't marry because others are marrying. Don't relate because others are relating. Don't relate because it's the cool thing to do, to be. You're not auditioning for a cool kids club. No. You are getting into a covenant. When it is aligned, it is a covenant. When it is misaligned, it is bondage. When it is aligned, it is a blessing. When it is misaligned, it is a curse. When it is aligned, there is emotional stability. When it is misaligned, there is stress and there is depression. When it is aligned, it is a kingdom partnership. When it is misaligned, it is made in hell and assembled in hell. Just imagine. How sad. When it is aligned, it accelerates destiny. When it is misaligned, it barricades everything good and curtails everything good that you were meant. So marriage is not a joke. It is not a joke. Tying a knot with someone is not a joke. It can either be a covenant or a bondage, so choose. But that only is dependent on one fact: who you choose. So who you marry is the biggest investment you will ever make in this world. The biggest investment. Investment for peace, investment for wealth, investment for creativity, investment for, as in, it is the biggest investment. So don't choose big nyash. No. Don't choose big cleavage. Don't choose a bright color. Don't choose big lips. Don't choose, as in, yes, but those are fleeting things. A good heart, that is a blessing. That is a blessing. Someone that adds value to you, that is a blessing. Someone that prays with you and over you, that is a blessing. Someone that also yearns and desires to create wealth and to chase after, someone that has purpose on the inside of them, that is wealth, and that is a true partnership. I want us to be able to try and wrap up this, but emotional stability comes to those that choose right. You remember when that must have been Solomon. I think I read a meme some time back that say that after Solomon fought with his one of his so many concubines, and I think they should have been concubine like number 307, and then he said, better to marry. I don't remember how to phrase that scripture exactly, but it just shows you that a bad woman, complaining woman, is like rain that does not stop trickling on iron sheets, like constantly, the constant picking on you, the constant bickering, the constant quarreling, the constant demands, the constant everything. And it's like, you know what? It is better to be in one corner of a corner of the house, as in, it is, in a nutshell, what he was saying, it is very draining. So learn from a man who had more than 1,000 concubines. I don't know what he was doing with them, but learn from a man who had all the women on earth and was saying that that kind of woman, the quarrelsome woman, the never-ending bickering and everything, will never provide the emotional stability that you actually need. All right? And these days, we talk about, kingdom partnership. Some of us don't even, just understand what it is. But when the Bible says in Matthew 6 and says that, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything shall be added unto you, or all these things shall be given to you as well. When you come into partnership, and you can be able to tithe, you can be able to give to missions, you can be able to support widows, you can be able to to support some children, go to school, you can be able, as in, you are accelerating God's agenda. So as a result, God entrusts you with more wealth. He entrusts you because you are a faithful steward who will impact the kingdom. So he keeps giving you more. He keeps giving you more. It's still the conversation that we had today morning as we were talking with my husband, as school fees time, taking back kids to school, and we have a few people that God has put on our hearts, and so we're like, okay, now we should be able to look at this list, and see, because there's a lot that we're doing at the same time and stuff like that. Where do we cut budgets? Where do we cut? And it was like, you know what? We are not cutting any budget from the people that we are actually holding hands and helping. We are not cutting the budget, because, that is the blessing. The more we give, the more that God gives. The more, and he actually told me, the more you hold on to what you have, is the more things are just held up. The moment you are a giver, as in, God is saying, he's actually doing my work. So if I give you, let me just randomly say, if I give her 500 millions, she's going to use 400 of that 500 millions for my work to help other people, and maybe she's going to retain the 100 million. Yeah. And so God keeps giving you because he knows you are a channel. But if you are just a blockage or a pipe that is blocked all the time, it's about me, it's about my family, it's about me, it's about my family. So tell me where in partnership, if you are partnered with the wrong person, they will even allow you to do anything. I know of wives that have told me that their husbands are saying, so you're wasting money on your family. Instead of, and the wife is like, you know what? I take care of this family. I'm the one doing the clothing, doing the school fees, doing the food, and sometimes I actually fail to understand, because the husbands that keep asking those questions are husbands that don't contribute. Some of them don't contribute because they don't have. Some of them contribute. They don't contribute because they just don't want to contribute. They want to drain the woman's money. And I talked about that. That toxic partners and narcissistic partners, they will drain you until your last. Why? Because they don't want you to have money. And I gave those reasons. Still go back and look for that and look for that program. You will actually see a full hour of breaking down why a narcissist does not want you to have money. Yeah. So kingdom partnership, or the real kind of partnership, when you choose the right person, is a person that will listen to you because they know you have good views, and you will listen to each other, and you'll be like, okay, if you're willing for us to take this, what you would call a risk, let's risk and do it, because we are doing it in the name of God. We are giving, we are contributing, we are outdoing ourselves, and if this is the will of God, then he is going to keep replenishing, he's going to keep refilling, and he's going to keep providing. And so he just doesn't, he will not, or she will not just pick and say, oh, but you're doing this, oh, but you're doing that, but you're doing that. No. They will not come from a complaining. Even if they are being cautious, they will not come from a complaining angle. They will always be like, okay, so let's just look at everything that we are doing, so that at least we have at least an overview of what we are doing. And sometimes though, it will even be random. I know for sure that my husband takes care of my family more than I even take care of my family, more than I can ever dream of taking care of my family. Do I reciprocate? So much. Because then it's just human that when there is no reciprocation, after some time, someone just gives up and feels like, you know what, I don't think this is going the right direction. Yeah. So the kingdom partnership, I don't want you to forget that if you are a faithful steward, or you are faithful stewards, God will keep giving you, because he knows that there is kingdom impact. But that is if you marry right. That is if you marry right. Okay. And the last one we will talk about is the acceleration. I love the power of acceleration. I believe that God works in multiplication. He works in wonders. Okay. So in Habakkuk 2:2, that says that for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Yeah, though it will linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. So when both spouses carry the same vision, okay, they pursue goals with urgency and faith. Instead of dragging, they accomplish so many things. What others fail to even achieve in 20 years, they will achieve it in a very small amount of time. That is acceleration. Because you're pursuing, you're both facing the same direction, you're both believing in the same God, you're both praying for whatever it is that you're praying, and you're putting all your energies on that. There is acceleration, there is multiplication. Instead of, just imagine if what partner is building and the other one is tearing down, when will you build? When will you get to your goal? That means there is no goal. That means two people cannot work together unless they agree. And that is the scenario of choosing the wrong person. You have chosen the wrong person, and instead of holding hands, they are always pulling. It's more like a tug of war. They are pulling you to this direction, you're pulling them to this direction, until, by the way, there will always be a partner that gives up and is like, you know what, let me just, because of the too much stress and the too much fatigue and the too much exhaustion, you will give in and you're like, I think I have given up fighting. That is where sometimes people give up on their dreams, they give up on their earning capacities, they give up on opportunities, they give up everything, and they're like, nasigaza kumula babulabi, tewasigaza kumula babulabi nebirooto byo byafa. And that is the problem. But I pray that God in heaven that is watching over you will give you the power, will give you the capacity to redeem, to reclaim, to rebuild, okay? Whatever it is that seems like it was lost and it was dead. And those of you that have not chosen, God will give you the wisdom to choose right so you can build right. Okay? I love you and bless you.